When my father became ill, we moved to Central Falls, and we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. I have eight siblings. Then my father passed away, and it was very hard. And we lived in Central Falls my whole life growing up, and so I know poverty. My mother's situation became better later on. She got a good job. I had a stepfather, and so our situation became more stable. But we definitely knew poverty. We saw people that were poor. Maybe the other thing about poverty that people don't realize is no matter what you think is poor, when you're living it, you don't think it's poor. So, I mean, doesn't everybody use hand-me-downs? Doesn't everybody play football in the street? Doesn't everybody share their bike? Doesn't everybody sleep with their brother or their sister? Doesn't everybody share a room? Doesn't everybody have bunk beds? Doesn't everybody, now in Central Falls, the reality is getting much tougher. Now, doesn't everybody rent the living room? Doesn't everybody live with their aunts and uncles in the same 3-bedroom apartment? Doesn't everybody go shopping at Price Right? Doesn't everybody go? Now I see more and more people going to secondhand stores. Doesn't everybody do that? Those are the kinds of things that when you're in poverty, you know you're poor, but you don't know how poor you are. And in CF, I grew up with that. I know what it is. I think, as a staff, are extremely responsive. We have a clothing closet where we have lots of used clothes. If a kid comes in, like we had some families shut out of their apartments with nothing. I mean, that's it. No landlord paid the rent. Nobody told them anything. And the kids helped each other, too. Because this one girl, I noticed her wardrobe changed, and I was just, what's going on with her? And then what happened was they had closed her family out of that apartment. They went to live with their friends, and she didn't have clothes. So she was using her friends' clothes, which were much smaller than hers. And she didn't have any clothes, not a stitch of clothing, because they locked the building down and put those kind of locks that they put on when they foreclose. So there are a lot of buildings boarded up in CF, and a family's situation can change from midnight to the morning and landlords aren't always forthcoming about their situations. So we understand that as a staff, and we respond to it on a daily basis. It doesn't make the news. We don't want to make the news. We don't tell people what we do. Kids don't want to be pointed out for that kind of poverty. So, yeah, growing up in CF is not easy. And it can be a struggle for a family. It could be a struggle for an individual. I know this from having grown up there. I think that our staff, anybody that's worked in the building more than a year knows this. And we know what it is. So if Jimmy doesn't do good on a test, I mean, we wonder what's going on with Jimmy that day.
What was the effect of Obama's election on the school? I think it's a question that I'm curious about, because I know
kids loved the idea of Obama. He looks like them, most of them, not all of them. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Yes, we can. That's an old Spanish phrase, si se puede. I mean, they love that. They love Obama. So yeah, they were really into him. Of course, on the staff, you have Republicans, Democrats, and whatever. And so the staff was kind of divided a bit politically of who they wanted, but the kids were pretty sure it was Obama all the way.
So how did that change at all? How did people react when Obama came out saying, essentially endorsing the firing of the teachers?
The kids were very upset. They talked about it, and they continue to talk about it when they're with their way of dealing with things with sarcasm. And Obama, our boy dissed us in the press. Obama, Obama doesn't know what he's talking about. He needs to come to CF. When's Obama coming to CF? I know Obama made a mistake, but I still love Obama. I'm not giving up on Obama yet. But definitely disappointment. There is no, all of them were disappointed. They felt, like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What is your take on the kind of the new wave of educational leaders? I mean, in the last year, we've seen, with the Obama election, Arne Duncan at the national level, Deb Gist at the state level in Rhode Island, coming in, and I think there's and with the Race to the Top program, a lot of changes coming up in education. What is your feeling about these changes, about these new administrators and what they're trying to do?
I think they have an agenda. I think it's union bashing. I think that their agenda is to privatize. They're coming in, instead of saying, let's work with you, they're trying to put programs on top of us. They never ask us what knowledge we have, what, when they never consider our successes. If we give them our successes, they downplay them. If we criticize, then we're whining. So they always have a response that fits their agenda. And I mean, they've been throwing out ideas of charter schools within a school that's unionized, putting a department. They took out the departments, so they made academies. So instead of having maybe an ESL team or academy, putting in a charter school just for that population. So it's like they actively want to, if they can't break the union one way, they want to push outside non-unionized workers in. So it's kind of, it's a different thing. We've never had that before. And are we ready to deal with it? I don't know. I think we definitely have to get ready, because it's going to be a reality.
Well, my next question is about, what do you think about the stance of the AFT, and also has there been support or statements from the NEA, and what do you think about the role of the unions right now, and what should the unions do next? What should, from the union leadership, what should we see coming out?
I'd like to see them immediately address even the minor issues at a bigger level, because they're being played up bigger by the management. I mean, turning a negotiation about 6 points into a firing mechanism is kind of extreme. So if they're going to go extreme, we have to go extreme, and we have to be ready to do that. And in order to be ready to do that, you're going to have the mechanism in place with the PR people to do that, to deal with the issues as they come up. And it took a little bit to get organized. In CF, there wasn't a union, but the strategies that the management had kind of took us by surprise, and we shouldn't be surprised. We have strong unions. We should be ahead. We should be like the guy, we have the champion chess team at Central Falls. He was saying that we need to strategize ahead instead of reactive. So I'd like to see the union more proactive. I would love to see the union more proactive, and I think I am seeing it now. But I would have liked it at the beginning, because I feel we were.
I just want to wish you a lot of luck. We will be behind you.
Thank you.
And not too far behind you.
Thank God. So I think that I would like to see a more proactive union, immediately involved when a district is being attacked from management. Immediate. Whether it's East Providence, Central Falls, or Warwick, or any other school district, anywhere.
My last question is, what do you think are the next steps in the Central Falls struggle, and what comes next? I guess there's some uncertainty about, are you rehired, are you not? What comes next, and what do you think will be the kind of the significance of the struggle in Central Falls for education, for the fight to save public education in this country generally?
Okay, optimistically, we would like to go back to negotiating. We love CF. We want to be with CF. We want to work with whatever we have to do to get those kids to where they need to be. But we need more truth. We need to follow processes and laws, and we need to call people out when they're making lies. And I think the union needs to be less afraid of public opinion when going forward, because the law is on their side, and they need to do what's right for the union and for the kids. And if they allow people to lie in public and falsify the facts, they need to respond to it immediately. You cannot allow a factoid out there that's false, because then it becomes reality in people's minds. I mean, if you repeat it enough, people start to believe it. And it's not true, and they need to get out there right away. When somebody puts out a false statement, it immediately has to be challenged. And if they're going to use the national media, if they're going to use the president, then we have to be at that level. You have to play the game on the same level. And I would hope that, I know that there's strategizing going on. I would like to see more. And that's it. Because if we don't do it in CF has obviously been the beginning point for the national press play. So now the press is on, and we have to be there, shoulder to shoulder against them, because CF is teeny tiny, but it's like this attacking of unions can spread like a virus if we don't get rid of it right away. So I would like to see cohesive action, even when the most minimal thing is happening in a union. And what's happening in CF is a playbook or a practice. Maybe it's a scrimmage game, and if we don't play it right, it's going to become the playbook. So we better get it right. So that's all.
Okay.